Robin DiAbrio, currently Director of Athletics at UBC, also a former national field hockey player and coach, and aspiring pickleball player.
Okay, sounds good. So I guess maybe we'll start with, how did you get into pickleball? That's the event we're at today.
Yeah, pretty cool story actually, Jeff. Was introduced to it through my wife's dad, just on one of our vacations to Florida to visit him. He was adamant that the sport where it was at and what was going to be the big thing coming up. And so this was probably about 5, maybe 6 years ago now. And he loved the sport. He was absolutely addicted and pulled us in while we were on vacation. Didn't think much of it at the start, to be quite honest. But after a couple of weeks of play and then picking it up once we got back to Vancouver, I haven't put down the paddle since.
Okay, that's kind of an Annalie Waters type story.
That may be a favorable comparison for me, but yeah, definitely a fun story.
No, and did it take a couple of years for you to enjoy the sport and like it, or like right away you're just like, this is good?
You know what? We weren't playing a lot initially. We would play every now and again, and so I didn't really get addicted to it until I started playing a little bit more consistently. Started to play with and against some better players. They consecutively pulled me into some better and better groups. And as I got to appreciate the competitive side of the sport and how nuanced it is with respect to how many different ways you can win a game, be it power, be it strategy, be it good touch, tactics, the whole bit, that actually drew me in because it harnessed a lot of the competitive instincts that I'd put aside once I stopped playing field hockey.
At the event today, it's so cool because we have Canucks alumni, we have BC Lions alumni, we got Whitecaps alumni, 3 of the greatest local teams here in BC to all come together for charity. I think it's a great event. How did you get involved in this event?
A good buddy of mine, Steve Deacon, is a pro pickleball player. Steve and I have done a few of these type of events together, and as he was approached by the Lions and they talked to him about a few players that might be able to favorably contribute to an event like this, he pulled me in.
Okay, cool. And do you think pickleball as a great equalizer sport, you're taking people that maybe not necessarily have played, but yet you can make a tournament out of it?
I think the beauty of this game is that it's so accessible to so many different kinds of people in terms of their athletic background, and so many different kinds of people in terms of their strengths and weaknesses as a player and as an athlete. It brings the best of so many sports in together, taking the hand-eye coordination from some of the racket sports that we might be more familiar with, taking the speed and agility from some of the field sports that many have played before, and bringing it all together in a space that's a little bit more manageable and still a ton of fun. I think the proximity of the players being so close to one another lends itself to more social play and more of the social interactions and the fun banter that you would have between good friends and good athletes playing across from one another. So I think it has a lot to offer a huge variety of athletes, which is why it's actually so popular.
Yeah, and this is the inaugural tournament like this. I think it's going to be so interesting to see a Canucks alumni right across 14 feet away from a BC Lions guy.
I think it's fantastic. Each of these organizations does so much to promote community health and wellness, to promote awareness, to promote good causes for charity, and to those organizations come together and actually do it in a sport that's a little bit unique so that no one team or no one group has the edge. Everyone's almost on an equal playing field. Because you know how competitive all these athletes are.
I think they're going to come.
Yeah, they're not going to want to do anything but win and win big. So it's kind of neat that each of these competitive organizations that is ridiculously special in their own right are actually coming together and playing a sport that is probably a little bit new for all of them.
It's funny, when you and Sean maybe initially approached people, oh, this is pickleball. Some of them might be thinking, pickleball, I don't know. Like you initially, right?
Absolutely. The sport is growing and growing rapidly. I think it's one of the fastest growing sports in North America at this age, to be honest. But the beauty of it, like I said, is that it's so accessible. And even though people have their impressions as to what it is or isn't, once they try it, they come to understand just how inclusive, how accessible, but also how competitive and how athletic you can be playing this sport, especially as you get to the higher levels. That was what was unique for me. It always struck me as a fun and inclusive game, but it initially felt a casual game, more of a recreational game. And as I started to play it more competitively and I saw better players, better athletes with ridiculous skills, I started to appreciate how much this game really has to offer.
Is it the fitness aspect of and mobility, or the mental game and strategy and intelligence? What draws you in every time?
For me, it's actually the combination of all of those things. It's the fact that you need multiple things in order to be really successful at this sport, much like most high-performance sports, to be honest. So I think initially what draws people in is that you can be successful if you have strengths in any one of those areas. If you're a good athlete and can move well, you're going to be successful at more of the sub-elite levels. If you're really tough mentally and you have good strategy, you can be successful. If you've got great skills and great technical ability, you can be successful. But what works for me is that as you progress to higher levels of this game, you need a little bit of all of that. And to be really successful, if you watch some of the pros play right now, you need to have a lot of all of that. So that's what kind of drives me, because it takes a few strengths that I've developed in different areas of my sporting career and forces me to bring them together and actually master a completely different game.
That's cool. And Robin plays at a completely different level. I play pickleball as well. But it's so cool to see these guys out on the court. There's a little bit of almost art, and it's just like almost mesmerizing sometimes when you watch a high level game, I find.
Yeah, it is pretty special. And I think when you see really good players play, they have the ability, just like most pro athletes in every sport, they have the ability to make it look easy. And that's because they've developed a really high level of technical competence and of baseline strategy, and they're almost thinking ahead. They're trusting the fact that they made a decision on what skill to use, they're going to execute that skill really well, and they're already thinking about the next point, where the space is, where their opponents are, what opportunity is presenting itself. And that is all coming together in real time, in very quick succession with the pro level athlete, and it's not a given. For somebody who's learning the game and is developing their skills, each of those things takes a little bit more time and has them have to think about it a lot more, which slows everything down, and that's why it doesn't look sometimes as fluid or as seamless.
My pleasure, Jeff.
My pleasure, thanks.